Kiko, you disagree. It's not. So the statement is not straight for a man to date a trans woman, to which you disagree.
I disagree for that too.
Lexi, you put a mark through it? Is that a maybe?
It depends.
On what?
So if they're a fully transitioned trans woman and there's like nothing male physique about them at all, and they identify as a trans woman and they've done the name change and they put in the work and that is who they are, I don't think it's gay to be dating them. They don't have any male parts. So
if they have you also brought me into this though and sidewigged me.
I know, but she's speaking. So you mean post-operatively?
Yeah, post-op.
So pre-op it would be gay then?
Because of the fact of genitalia, I would say that it is not a fault of the other person for not being willing to date them. Because that is based off of sexual attractiveness to genitalia. And my boyfriend, he's straight, but he is like, I'm not attracted to genitalia at all. So like the thought of maybe being with female transitioning, male transitioning into female, it doesn't totally put him off, but there would have to be changes,
Sure.
Like they'd have to look feminine because he's attracted to feminine. But I wouldn't say that it's gay for a fully post-op woman. They're a woman, so no, it's not gay.
And then no, hold on. Okay, you also said that you were maybe on the statement transgender individuals have a duty to disclose to romantic partners, to which you say maybe.
Again, if they're fully transitioned and they look
then no, they don't have a duty.
They don't have to. That's a part of their private medical history. They don't need to disclose that.
Okay.
Of course they do.
They have to, hold on. I would say that they would have to disclose the fact that they cannot procreate.
Okay.
But so if someone has, we're talking about, you said they don't have to disclose because that's their own medical history. So you're telling me, so when I sleep with, doesn't have to disclose if they have a sexually transmitted disease or something else. That's all medical history.
Kiko using the Andrew argument. Good job, Kiko.
Trans is not going to rub off on you.
But you said medical history.
If they no longer have an STD or anything.
Because trust me, everyone hates me on this podcast because of the things I've said. So I'm not trying to do anything against you. But if you are, that is something that because that has to do with your sexual organs at the end of the day. So if you've had something done to your sexual organs, I feel like I have the right to know that before I am intimate sexually with you. It's the same thing about people with AIDS and HIV. They're like, oh, you don't have to disclose because I'm on my medication and I'm not transmittable. No, even if you're not transmittable or not, if you have HIV or AIDS, whatever, I have the right to know that.
Again, I agree with you. If there is a factor or a potential of you being physically affected by what they're going through, then they have an obligation to tell you.
But you'll be physically, mentally affected if you date someone that you didn't know. Like if I would go with a man that he was a woman before and I didn't know, because I really like alpha male and he pretend to be alpha male, I would be pissed off. I would be pissed off. Like it's unacceptable, completely unacceptable.
I don't know about what she said, but it's just you have a right to know who you're with. If they had a whole different being, I'm so open. But if I'm dating someone, I have the right to know if they were a different whole gender, sexuality in high school or whatever. That's things not about that you need to disclose. That's why people start getting mad because someone they have the right to make a conscious decision. And anyways, if you are trans, why do you want to be sleeping with someone who wouldn't want to sleep with you if you were trans? If anything, it's for your own safety to disclose something. Because if you're in the room with them, if you're in the motel bed, whatever, with them, and they realize something, that's how people get murdered and killed. So it's your right to disclose all that information for your own safety.
It's their right.
Hold on. You guys can have the exchange. 1 sec. Athena, you said you disagree that transgendered individuals have a duty to disclose to romantic partners.
Just about timing. I circled it because I think it's just more like when. I don't know that it's like a...
I think it should be immediately. But
you're meeting on a dating app, does it have to be before you go on a date, or can it be like when you meet them in person, you disclose that, or maybe before you guys decide
so
you want to go
what's your disagreement, though? Where do you think the line is?
Well, the timing of the duty, because I think there's like
Time of disclosure.
yeah.
Because I agree. I don't think you should be like, hi, my name is Kiko and I'm trans or whatever. But on a dating app, you should probably have that in your bio that's what's going on with you. If like, because that's.
But if you have that,
No. You guys can wait to give your position. What's your position?
I just gave it.
Yeah, you said. Okay, when does this duty kick in?
Oh, so okay, for timing.
Yes.
Yeah, I think first date, but like in person.
Okay.
So
All
to
right.
deceive him until the date, you mean?
Well, I mean,
We're gonna get right
I
back into
suppose.
this. I need to allow a few chats to come through because they're piling up.
how deceiving is it though to be like, okay.
Metro Mac donated $200. If we're drinking, you're drinking, Brian. Kiko, good to see you back, legend. Dark labia, you'll get smoked by them.
Dark labia.
Chair 3,
Oh,
I've been with a
no.
lesbian, just takes the right man.
Ooh, that might be your new nickname, I guess. Thank you, Metro Matt. Do appreciate the TTS. We have Grid 1 here with a response to Kiko. Thank you, Metro Matt. Grid 1, good to see you in the chat.
Grid 1 Motorsports donated $200.01. AHH Geek Zero, you miss the point. All those around you seek to champion degeneracy. The question is, what do these women offer? And you could not answer. All that agency, zero accountability.
I was just saying, regardless of what, because obviously every individual woman is different, right? But in retrospect, someone needs to work, someone needs to take care of the kids, someone needs to birth the kids. So as a man, regardless, even if you get a surrogate or whatever, you need a man to have a family. And that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about a day-to-day life, whatever. But like if you want to live a good life with a family, a woman needs to be involved in some point.
We have 3 readable chats. We have Low Paladins here. We'll have a conversation about it. Translation, I'm unhappy. I'm leaving you. You should have done more to keep me happy. Every man can relate. It's always a blind side. I think this pertains to the previous conversation. Is it directed at?
Yeah. Well, it's not directed at anybody. He's just pointing out that when you're having the duty versus transaction argument, that it does seem to always just kind of reduce back to transaction and not duty. That's what he's pointing out.
Okay. Meet the Kaiser, Andrew and Kiko agreeing it's a Christmas miracle. Hallelujah. Next, the blind will see and the lame will be able to open the champagne.
Was that a diss? Was that a diss?
Rude, Kaiser. Couldn't resist one more TTS. Merry Christmas and happy 2025 to whatever in the crucible. W's in the chat for Kaiser, W's in the chat for Low Paladins, and W's in the chat for Grid 1. We do have another one here from Low Paladins. He says, you can chop off your peen, you can get silicone bolted up to your chest, even inject chemicals into your body. That doesn't make you a woman. You will always have male chromosomes, mental disorder. Quick response from anybody on this?
I agree on that completely.
I was hoping for somebody who disagrees, but
We already knew
I
that.
disagree.
okay.
Honestly, like throughout history in certain indigenous tribes and everything, there wasn't a hard definition for sexuality. More feminine were seen as more spiritual. It wasn't considered a mental disorder until.
You're talking about the Two-Spirit?
Yeah, the Two-Spirit.
It's all fake.
All fake.
All fake. Yeah, it came from a single Spanish envoy. I don't remember, the word started with a B. I can't remember what he called them, but it was just with one particular tribe, roughly translated to something like Two-Spirit. But there's actually no serious documentation for the idea of Two-Spirit among Native Americans.
Well, I can speak as someone who's raised pagan, a lot of pagan communities, which did come before Christianity.
Yeah.
We'll just say that. We also don't view sexuality based off of what you are born with.
They did. In fact, the early pagan tribes, especially the Germanic tribes, they actually
pagan?
executed they actually executed people in same-sex relationship, and this was
which
actually
one,
well
though?
documented by the Greeks, especially by the early Greek philosophers, because they were studying pagan tribes.
Okay, Greeks and Romans who also had same-sex relationships with
they did.
altar boys.
They
and
did. Yeah. Hang on.
No, but
They did.
which pagans are we talking
Well,
about?
usually when people say pagans, they're not referring to Greeks, they're not referring to Romans. They're usually
Yeah.
referring to barbarian tribes which were later conquered by the Romans. So when people say, like, I have a pagan religion, they're not talking about Romans. Almost no pagan goes for that. They're usually going for the more tribal paganism, right?
Like specifically because you said German, is that what you?
Germanic tribes,
Germanic?
the Picts.
Yeah.
There was many different.
That's a big surprise.
The Britannians, all of these different tribes. Yeah, they came down pretty hard on it, actually.
Yeah.
Surprisingly.
So not surprisingly, those are not the most popular ones that stuck around, and that's not what has basically trickled down. If you look into Viking,
they killed them.
not all of them.
They did. I'm serious. Listen, I'm serious.
No.
I'm so sorry.
Vikings. Listen. Well, first of all, they didn't call themselves Vikings. That was we called them Vikings.
Yes.
Okay, but yeah, the Nordic pagans. Yeah, they were not
Okay,
fans.
not the ones that we commonly know. My dad is pagan Nordic. I don't associate with that, but also we have Druid paganism. We have the they weren't
Like
pagans.
one
they
of the
were,
whole Loki turning into a horse and humping another horse and the various different legends which are
that's
around
the
it.
mythology.
Yeah,
Sure.
yeah, but these mythologies are based around. Remember, I was saying culture comes from the ethos of the religion, right? And
Yeah.
so if you study especially Nordic gods, right? No, they were not fans. With women, they seem to not care as much, but
So-
with men, because there was such a dominance culture, that was a no-go.
So Loki, who could change into a woman.
Yeah, but the idea was Loki's the trickster god, right?
Yeah, but
Yeah,
he
and
changed into
the idea with the trickster god is like you don't want to be tricked because this is bad. This is bad,
Sure,
right?
if
That's
you're-
the
if
idea.
you're- Yeah, that's
Yeah.
the idea. That's not the execution, though.
Well, I mean, I'm just telling you how those cultures viewed it.
Yeah,
But I
yeah.
think it's
No,
all
I
about
know.
trickery,
Trickery, yeah.
and that's why it needs
Well,
to
like
be
going
disclosed.
back to your earlier argument here, right? So I was thinking about what you were saying on disclosure, and maybe I can bring some clarification to it. I'm saying, what's a really good way to show and demonstrate my side of this? So I'll do it this way. You know that there's like apps where you can download the app and it'll show you every sex predator that's in your like radius, right?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think we should get rid of those apps?
No.
Well, wait. That's really weird though, because that's not going to like rub off on somebody. It's not going to like rub off on them if you
What do
date
you
them
mean
and they don't
that-
disclose their history. Like, why do you deserve to know their
because
history?
they have assaulted other people.
But that doesn't mean that they will assault you.
So you're comparing.
So why do you deserve? No, I'm not.
Yeah, you're
here's
comparing
here's the
trans
analogy.
to
Here's the analogy. It's
people
just
on a
it's-
registry.
Anytime you test logic, you're going to be comparing two different things.
But they're
no
not
way.
comparable.
But why are they not comparable?
They're not comparable because being trans yourself does not affect another person.
Neither does you, being a person
it does.
who has done something which puts you on that sex registry. How does that affect you?
I'm sorry. So you're saying it's the victim's fault for them being on a sex
That
registry?
has nothing. No. I'm not calling them victims or anything like this. I'm just testing.
Well, how do you get
I'm
on a sex
testing
registry?
your logic.
Oh.
You did bad thing. You're on this registry, right?
Uh-huh.
But tell me something.
So you're-
Why do you deserve to know that? Why do you deserve to know
Because
that?
that person has hurt other people.
So what? That doesn't mean that person is going to hurt you.
Okay, but how is that comparable to a trans person?
Because if you feel like you deserve to have this thing disclosed to you,
I
just
don't,
based on your
but-
then why wouldn't you advocate to get rid of those apps?
Because it's different scenarios.
Yeah, but here's
They're
the
not
thing.
comparable.
Since these people are not actually, there's no way for you to determine they would ever hurt you in a million years or do anything bad to you in a million zillion years. You have no way to actually make that determination. Yet you look at this and you say that informs your decision on what you would or would not do with this person. And so you say, this informs my decision. I deserve to know that. And that's why you deserve to be on that registry.
Because they've specifically hurt another human being.
No, but no. Here's the point, though. You could be on the sex registry for peeing on
Yeah.
the sidewalk as a man,
Yeah,
right?
for
so
all
it's
sorts of
up
different
to
things.
the partner to make that discretion if that's something they're okay with. So you disclose to them, hey, I'm on the sex registry. It's just because I pissed on the sidewalk, whatever. So it's up to you as a trans partner to tell them, hey, I'm trans. I started when I was young.
No, let me ask you a question.
Like, but it's up to their discretion
If it were
to
the
say
case
that's okay.
that all trans people, let's say, just like were put on a similar sort of registration, just like people were put on a sex registration. Not advocating they are. I'm just saying hypothetically if they were. Do you think that would, if people were informed of that, they would make different decisions with them?
Potentially.
And so then the
It's
idea.
up to their right
so
to make
this
that
is the same. It's the
So,
same concept.
All of this to say, I never said that they shouldn't
Yeah.
disclose the information. I'm just saying that they are not obligated to, especially if they are fully
But
transitioned.
that's the whole point.
It
That's the whole
depends,
point.
in my opinion, it depends on how emotionally invested you are with somebody. If you feel safe enough to open up to them and tell them, hey, yeah, I'm trans,
I have a few.
But that's the thing.
Then, yeah.
If you are hooking up with someone that you don't feel safe enough to disclose the fact that you're trans to, what happens when you're alone in the room with them and they find out that you're trans?
how
Like,
would
if
they
you're-
find out?
Sometimes they
Doesn't
figure
matter
it
if
out.
they
Hold on,
find
so-
out.
But like if you're because you said if they're safe enough to disclose it, then they can disclose it. If they're not safe enough to disclose the fact that they're trans, then they shouldn't be around that person.
I agree.
Yeah, so
So that's the whole point is why you should just disclose it, because if you can't
Yeah,
disclose it, then
cool.
you shouldn't be with them.
So I just have a few things to go back and forth here. So your position before is you said that if they fully transitioned, and this includes operative surgery on their genitalia, that in that scenario, there is no duty to disclose.
There's no,
But-
there's no
but
duty.
I would almost
but
think-
moral obligation. Again, it's the debate
It's
between
cheating.
duty and moral obligation.
Well, I sort of conflate the
Moral
two to some
obligation is a
degree.
duty,
Like,
yeah.
I agree. I think it is.
That's what moral obligation is. They're synonyms almost.
Okay,
like a
but
moral
that's
obligation
an
is a duty.
How
ethical
about this?
debate,
How
and you
about
can't
this?
agree on ethics 100%
Let's change it then.
of the
Let's
time.
remove duty. Should transgender individuals disclose to romantic partners that they're transgender?
To romantic partners, yes.
Sure, okay. But it sounds like, so just to be clear though, even if they've had operative procedures.
Wait, what? Wait, hang on. This makes no sense.
I do want back
If a
and forth.
trans,
Go ahead.
but hang on, this makes no sense because if a trans partner should disclose to a person they're having a romantic relationship with, then why would they ever go on a date with a person without disclosing that?
Exactly.
Well, if you're in the scenario of like dating apps, it's dangerous to put that on dating apps because somebody who.
Okay.
Wouldn't it be
Because
more
it's
dangerous to
cheating.
go on a
Crime.
date with them without telling them?
No.
Yeah, so.
Of course,
Here.
yes. People
So-
got murdered like this.
Yeah, so, okay.
People get murdered
hold
when they
on.
put their information on dating apps and then get lured in by psychos.
But if a guy go out with a woman that she's not originally a woman, and he's really an alpha male, he's gonna take it personal and get pissed off.
Okay, so you're saying that it's the trans person's fault for being trans for being murdered.
Yeah, it's a bad
Yeah.
argument. It's a trans.
So you're
panic
saying it's
defense.
their fault for the person that they go out on a date with.
Yes.
If they decide, oh, you lied to me, I'm gonna
Yes.
murder you.
No, I'm not-
You're saying that that's
I'm
an
not
okay
justifying-
reaction.
Hang on, listen, she's actually right. What you're talking about is called the trans panic defense, a terrible defense. You shouldn't make it. You're going to get wrecked on it. I just wouldn't do it.
So,
But anyway,
I
back
would
to
like
I'm
to
not agreeing that they should die. I'm not agreeing that they should die.
Okay.
All right. So, on the safety thing, though, it would occur to me that because you bring up safety, right? If they disclose on the dating apps, it's a safety concern for them. Now, I don't think that violence is warranted in this sort of situation, but the reality of the situation is, wouldn't the trans individual be safer? Again, I'm not saying violence is good. There shouldn't be no violence. But I do think that a trans individual would be safer if they made a disclosure as early as possible. For example,
I agree.
For example, if they were to go on a date and have sex with a person and not disclose, then this could potentially lead to a violent interaction if they
I
were
agree.
to disclose afterwards or this individual were to find out. But you did make a differentiation when it came to who would be, I guess, obligated to disclose based on their based on how much of a transition they've made. And you said, well, if they've not made much of a transition or they haven't had the genitalia surgery, then yes, they do. But if they've done everything, bottom surgery, then no duty there. But I would argue that I think the bigger bamboozle here, because for example, if a straight man would have an objection to sleeping with somebody with a penis, when the penis is inevitably discovered, right? Because post-op or preoperatively, this would then give them an opportunity to remove their consent and exit the situation. However, somebody who is genuinely heterosexual, who is genuinely straight, and you do have some sort of passing neo-vagina, which I think is unlikely because a neo-vagina is not a vagina. But in any case, granting that it is, you have essentially forced somebody into what I view as a homosexual act, which I think is technically SA. But I do want to say that from the safety concern, you've gone ahead, like, if there's a discovery of a penis, the person can, while frustrated, knows immediately and then can extract themselves from the situation. If you have, like I said, a passing neo-vagina, you could induce an otherwise heterosexual man to engage in a homosexual act.
What makes it homosexual?
Okay, sure.
The fact that it's
I got it. Okay, so transgender women are women?
Yes.
Okay, are transgender women female?
Again, I think if they've had all the surgeries and they're on all the hormones and they look feminine.
Which surgery changes your chromosomes? Which one is that?
It doesn't, but can you see chromosomes in like a person?
Yeah, you can see the phenotypes from the chromosome.
Okay, so if you were looking at me right now, what gender would you say I am?
I would say, well,
Female.
when you...
Female?
Well,
Yeah, so
well,
you can't see my
hang on.
chromosomes?
I wouldn't say your gender at all. I'd say your sex, I would think, would be female based on secondary sex characteristics.
Okay.
So,
Right?
What are
So
those?
your phenotypical expression. So there's a phenotypical expression with your genotype.
Okay.
So your genotype's male, genotype female, and then you have a phenotypical expression that goes with it.
Okay, but can you see it?
Changing the phenotypical expression, well, sure.
Can you see my
Sure.
chromosomes?
Okay, hang on. Can I do a magic trick right now where it would appear to you as though I could make a quarter disappear? But did the quarter actually disappear? No. I can trick you, right? And people's eyes can be tricked.
Why-
But that doesn't actually mean that the phenotypical expression itself has anything to do with the actual genotype.
Okay, but why is not being able to change your chromosomes? Why is that a deciding factor
Because-
for if it's homosexual or not?
Okay.
yeah, so straight is short form slang for heterosexual, correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So heterosexual and homosexual, these terms have always related to one's sex, not their gender, first of all. The same sex
Okay.
attraction, opposite sex attraction has nothing to do with gender. So I'll go ahead and grant that transgender women are women. Transgender women are not female. So two males engaged in a romantic or sexual relationship definitionally is homosexual. A male and a female in a hold on. A male and a female who are engaged in a romantic or sexual relationship, that would be heterosexual. You can a male and a male who are engaged.
What makes that heterosexual?
The sex.
Literally the definition, unless you're going to be a science denier, which seems increasingly common amongst liberals, you're going to have to explain to me how somebody can change their sex. Unless you're prepared to disregard and deny decades or even centuries of biological science, which is in fact a science, it's not a soft science. So unless you're prepared to deny science, you're going to have to explain to me how a male can become a female.
With the surgery to give them the organs.
Does that?
So then
wait, hold on.
If you're going to nitpick the organ thing right now and start saying like,
No.
uterus and
Yeah.
no.
So okay, are they?
Well, no,
Are they a woman before the surgery?
No.
Exactly.
Wait, so you're saying transgender women are not women? Wow, that's pretty insulting to people who are identify as transgender.
What I'm saying is they can identify as a woman and they can have the characteristics of a woman and they can be going through the process of becoming a woman, a female. But you're switching the topic. You said that because the chromosomes won't change, that makes it homosexual.
Well,
and I was asking, why is that the case?
There's a simple way to phrase it. Can a woman become a trans woman?
Can a woman become a trans woman?
Yeah. Can a female become a trans woman? Why not?